Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have joined the ranks of the Schmoedown Aftershow universe. We just decided, hey, everyone else has a Schmoedown show. Why don't we go ahead and do one? But ours is just a little bit different. There are plenty of shows out there that discussion after discussion. So me and my co-host, Jeff Quiz Show Ultimate, we decided to try and go a little bit different route. It's like a game show, but there's discussion and debating involved. And the off season from season 7 to season 8 is pretty much almost wrapped up. We got free agency this upcoming Friday, and then about a week and a half from now, we will have the draft, and then season 8 of War will begin. Jeff, say hi to everyone out there.
Hey, everyone out there. War, what is it good for, Buck? Absolutely nothing unless you're in the Schmoedown.
Exactly. Now, we did have the Schmoedown Awards this past Friday, which basically they were giving out awards for some great accomplishments during season 7. But for me, the best part of the awards wasn't even really giving out an award for what happened. It was giving out the Yodi Award to the Smasher, Kevin Smets. He wasn't an interview, but it was just him talking, thanking everyone, and it was definitely one of the most emotional moments of the night. It was, hands down, it was my favorite moment of the night. I don't usually cry or tear up, but watching that really hit me, and we all are behind the Smasher. Can't wait to watch him smash and kick Cancer's ass and then welcome him back in open arms to the Schmoedown. It's going to be great. So the way this show works, everyone, is we will have a variety of topics to discuss every week. This week, we will be discussing some notable awards from this past week. And we have 3 panelists from the vast majority of the after shows there that talk about Schmoedown. Every week we will typically have a different panelist. We will give them the topics to discuss, and when they bring up a solid point, they get a point. If they bring up something just stupid and doesn't really help them, they lose a point. They're really trying to win me and Jeff over, and also the chat. If we notice something in the chat that is a solid point, we will also give them a point. They don't lose points from the chat because the chat can be a little biased. It's more of they can only lose points from me and Jeff. And then after each discussion topic, we will have an updated score. After all 5, there are 6 topics this week. After the 5th topic, at the top 2 panelists will then go head-to-head for the final topic to find out who our winner is. And at that point, they do start at 0 points. 0 points for that final topic. So you could have someone who is up by 10 points after the first 5, and they're back at 0. So it's a start from scratch sort of thing. So it's going to be a very fun night. Hopefully the panelists all behave themselves.
I'm hoping they don't.
I don't either. I don't want people to behave. That's not what this show is. Thanks for everyone for tuning in for our premiere episode. This is going to be a fun night. But without further ado, let us introduce our panelists. Up first is the baby of the 3. This channel it's pretty new. They've only been around since May. There is a panel of 4. Their color is purple, which is actually kind of funny because one of our main colors is purple. And all 3 of these people, their shows did qualify for Podcast of the Year. We know one of them won. We don't know how the standings worked after that, but I have a feeling this first one, they probably finished in 3rd. So this is why they're going to come up first. I have Suge Knight of the Let's Get Ready podcast. Suge Knight,
What a
how's it
weird
going?
way to introduce Bucks. What was that?
Disrespectful. Fuck disrespectful. Putting us third? Are you kidding me? We were number one.
At least
We
you're
feel
not
that there was
fourth. At least you're not fourth.
Well, we're not John Roca. So the bottom line is we were not third. We were first. There's a bias in the Action Army. It is what it is. But thank you for having me on Buck and Quiz Show. Appreciate you guys. How's everybody doing tonight?
Exactly what it is, Belford. Exactly what this show is. So, Suge, any preconceived notions as to how you think the show might go tonight?
Well, this show is going to go terrible for me because you're setting me up for failure. You're putting me against two people that love to argue. And you
don't. Come on. We know you love to argue.
I don't. I'm not the one that argues on LGR. That's Ferris's territory, but I'll do the best I can.
All right. This is going to be a very fun night. Introducing our second competitor. She just launched a new show on her YouTube channel called Happy Hour, and we all know how that goes. Drinking and talking always seem to go well. Their name also, I'm not going to lie, it influenced our name when I saw their name, like certain point of view. I didn't, it's not saying we took the idea, but I like the idea of using like a quote from a movie to kind of give us the name of the YouTube channel. We have Jillian Marie of A Certain Point of View. Jillian, how's it going?
Does that mean I'm second place?
No, that means you've had your Schmoedown. You guys have had your show the second longest. I actually had to look up Let's Get Ready and Certain Point of View to figure out who's the baby.
Got it.
I think
you said look at gotten third place in the awards. Apparently,
yeah. Look at Shug. He is a baby.
He is. He may look like a baby.
So. I'm glad to be here though, because apparently I like to argue. So party. Let's go. I finished my root beer and rum, and we're good to go, man.
Got that liquid courage.
Got that. Who needs liquid courage? I don't need it.
Jeff, have you watched Jillian on A Certain Point of View? She does not need any more encouragement. Jillian is amazing, and everyone over there at A Certain Point of View is just like Let's Get Ready. Jillian, any thoughts and viewpoints before we get started here today?
Yeah, I'm ready to destroy people. So it's a Monday. I'm ready to bring the heat.
Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be really fun.
Bring it.
All right. Now, introducing our final panelists. Literally, the only way to describe is just Mac Daddy. Like, is there any other way to describe this person? She is on the 2-time consecutive award-winning Schmoedown podcast, Alex Mac Daddy from Call to Action. Mac Daddy, how's it going?
Hi. This makes me really nervous. This makes me really scared to be here. I feel like I get fed up.
No. Alex, just be yourself. Just be yourself.
Well, that's awkward because I don't like arguing, and I like to watch other people argue, but I don't like to argue. That's why
nothing like yourself.
That's why I have a debate show where I don't debate.
Well, now we get to see
flip the script
of the leader of Schmoebates. Can she actually debate? Again, this is not a debate show, but there are debate tactics involved. I guess without further ado, I will introduce our first topic of the day. Season 7 had some amazing matches. There are no doubt about it. There was a period there where it felt like every week it was like, oh, that's match of the year. That's match of the year. So it was very difficult for the competitors and the patrons to decide what is the match of the year. So if everyone does not remember, these are the nominees. We had both versions of Merle versus Bateman. So the one in Atlanta and the one that they did on StreamYard. Then we had Odd Couple versus Final Exam. Then we had Demolanta versus Scrimshaw. which for me was match of the year. Then we had Dimolanta versus Cabrera, both great Star Wars matches. Then we had the three-way in in New York, Merle, Bibiani, and Meyer. Then we had Corruptions versus the Founding Fathers, which Chance was just clicking on all cylinders in that match. And we have our winner, match of the year, the final match of the year, by the way, Dan Merle versus Adam Collins at Spectacular. So I will start with Shook. Did the right match win or not?
No. The right match did not. The right match did not win, in my opinion. This match, even though it was great, obviously Dan Merle the GOAT, Adam Collins the hot new rookie, going for 7-0 to win the championship, going into overtime. It had all the ingredients, but I think what for me makes match of the year is being a live match, and for me, it's got to be Demolanta Ace Cabrera. That match had everything. It had its ups, it had its downs, it had just ebb and flows, and you have Cabrera missing his 2-pointer, which you thought right there, Demolanta is going to win it. And next thing you know, Ace goes to his 5, answers it. Demolanta answers his 3, goes to his 5, and isn't able to pull it. And another heartbreaking loss again.
Yeah, there are definitely some good ones there. All right, I'll move on to Jillian. Did the right match win, or do you have another pick?
Oh, this was my match of the year, hands down. For me, this was no question as being match of the year. It was, number one, it was the last match of the year. And it was a singles tournament match, championship match that went into overtime. And New Blood took that belt. And I don't know about anyone here, but I kind of got really tired of the same 3 or 4 people just passing the belt along to each other. So having this New Blood holding that belt was something super exciting for me personally. And another big thing for me, there was no drama with this match. It was a clean match. There was no stupid challenges. There was no backstage drama about, oh, I didn't know the answer to a Fast and Furious question, even though I have an actions podcast and, I should know my action films. There wasn't any craziness like that. So for me, this was 100% match of the year.
I definitely liked her points there better. Shug, you're already not off to a good start. Alex.
I mean, that's because you're biased against me, but that's fine.
I am not biased against you. She provided better points.
Speaking of bias, one of the hosts of Cinema Bias. Now we got on Alex. What do you think?
I definitely agree with both of you guys. You both have made really great pitches for both these matches. They're some of my favorite matches of the year. However, to me, the match of the year, bar none, is absolutely Odd Couple versus Final Exam for multiple reasons. One is the storyline. We had the introduction of this new versus old teams. So with the Odd Couple, they're coming back with fury. They just defeated Deception, and which was also not so much a nomination for greatest match of the year, but a lot of people were walking away from that match being like, they got lucky. That's the reason why they're going up against going against the Final Exam. And Final Exam knocking out of the park this year. They lost against Shazam, who ended up winning the team's belt, but they are succeeding in the tournament and killed it. The storyline of this new rookie team versus this old established team in the process of trying to redeem themselves was a really great storyline wise, but also one of the rising stars this year as far as his comeback story was really Lon. Lon is amazing, and he's by far one of everyone's favorite competitors from the season. Another one comes down to is it's a championship match and a tournament finish match. It came down to 48 versus 45. That's insane. How many other matches have really came down to that final point? It's ridiculous. Again, like you said, Jillian, I completely agree with you. It was a clean match, and a clean match really, really helps a lot of these matches when there's so much drama or there's so much nonsensical challenges. This match is a true great match. Even if you're not a Schmoedown fan, this match will convert you into loving Schmoedown, because it has. I have showed it to family and friends, and they were like, "Oh shit, I get it now."
Wow.
Solid points there by all three panelists there. Shug, you didn't start out very well. And I'm not biased. I am not biased. I just feel like Jillian and Alex. I'm not biased against Shug. I have no reason to be biased against Shug. Why would I be biased against Shug Knight?
Because you were in the running yet.
You keep saying you're not biased, but you're like repeating it.
And Let's Get Ready is amazing.
And he keeps talking. Yeah, and he keeps talking.
And Center for Review is amazing. I see you. That's fine.
So, I mean, at this point now, everyone's kind of shared their opinions here, and we want to see, do any of you agree with any of the points anyone's made? Do you disagree? Is there anything that you actually think might have converted your own opinion in any way? Any of you can start here at this point. Now you're just going to talk over each other for the next few minutes.
Oh boy.
Oh God. Oh boy.
Oh, boy,
you know what, Jill? Why don't you go ahead?
Oh me. Oh, what a gentleman. Thanks, Shug. For me, I will say to Shug's point, the Alex de Milanta and Ace Cabrera Star Wars match was insanity. But that, for me personally, that wasn't even my favorite Star Wars match of the tournament. For me, that was Ace Cabrera and Laura Kelly, because for me that match really implanted Ace is not here to mess around. He's here to dominate. So that's my thought on that. And I will say to Alex for the final exam and the odd couple, it was definitely up there for me for match of the year, but it just wasn't as memorable to me as that championship match was, because again, similar to Lon had this good comeback, but Adam Collins had this basic Cinderella story where he wasn't even in the draft. He wasn't supposed to be drafted. He was picked up because someone from Corruption could not compete. And Shannon said, "Oh, this kid seems great. I'll bring him in." Not only does he TKO and KO his entire way through this tournament, he takes the belt from the GOAT, Dan Murrell. The GOAT, Dan Murrell. And while, yes, the odd couple did went into eventually win that team's title match, people were knocking Collins out the entire time. And he came back and he won in his second overtime match. This was not his first time being in overtime. It was his second. And he did it to win the championship belt from the GOAT. And to me, that was just pure iconic. So that was it. This match deserved to be match of the year.
I agree. I mean, yeah. I get what you're saying, Jill, but here's one thing about the de Milanta and Cabrera match that I think knocks both of your arguments out the park is the fact that it was live. Neither one of your matches were live. They were both taped, so we don't know what happened behind the scenes. And to me, yes, I love the Laura Kelly match. The Laura Kelly Cabrera match is one of my favorite matches. I don't know why it was not nominated for match of the year, because that is ridiculous. But the reason the de Milanta Cabrera matches is so memorable because you had de Milanta during that whole match playing great up until round 5. And then Ace misses his 2-pointer, one of the easiest 2-pointers ever that you can, because he was so brain fried because it was a five round match. And then he still comes back to win. And it happened to de Milanta again where he couldn't answer his 5-pointer. And you saw the misery on his face that he knew he didn't know it. And nobody can believe it, because when we can all agree when watching that match, as soon as Ace missed his 2-pointer, we all thought de Milanta's winning this match and he's going to play Damon as spectacular. And the fact that de Milanta couldn't pull out that answer, it was heartbreaking more than anything. Dan losing wasn't heartbreaking because we know Dan's going to come back. Odd couple versus final exam, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but it wasn't heartbreaking. This was literally heartbreaking. People were so sad to see de Milanta lose like that. That the fact that it just broke spirits. So to me, that was why I chose this match. And the fact that it was live, you couldn't edit anything out. It was raw emotion. You saw it from start to finish. It was just a great match. So that to me is why I think that match was better than both.
Counterpoint, I wasn't sad to see someone lose in that match. I was excited to see someone win to complete that Cinderella story. For me, that is an argument kind of going against your own argument there to support your match. But whatever. That to me was not match of the year. This deserved to be match of the year.
I would also argue that we're not talking about best Star Wars match of the year, because I also personally think that best Star Wars match of the year is actually Demolanta versus Scrimshaw, which actually comes down to which is more technically correct, and they both were amazing. They both had nearly perfect games, and again, it came down to an answer which was more correct. Regardless, Adams versus Collins was a really, really great match. However, when I was watching it with friends and family, it's great. It was a live match. It's very spectacular. It's wonderful. However, it was kind of a boring match, not because the stakes were high and everything, and it's great and it's live and anticipation. This really growth of this Cinderella story, which was wonderful. However, it is between these two competitors that are kind of boring, to be completely honest. I was watching with friends and they took a nap in the middle of the fourth round. I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, these people are boring. And I was like, I don't think they're boring, but like, to someone that has
Andrew guy, we get it.
Yeah, but as someone that like us, we know Schmoedown. We love Schmoedown. We know the history. We understand everything leading up to it, which makes it that much more amazing. But for someone that's going into Schmoedown knowing nothing about the history, thinking this is the only match they're ever going to see, they're going to be like, And what makes Schmoedown really wonderful is not the core knowledge that these competitors have, because they're immensely talented and they deserve those belts. It's the combination of the knowledge with the storyline, with the character growth. And that wasn't really a match that focused all that much on the character growth all much. It was all about the core knowledge, which one has more knowledge. Now, my match in particular has story, it has character, it has so much knowledge. It also can't, something I do want to mention, it's actually created a team record for them, in general, for all teams across the board, something I remember. And this is a team, the Odd Couple have never been better. Oh my gosh, this is the best team match they played all season. This is also going up against the Final Exam, the best rookie team we've seen in a very long time, along with some of these competitors that are looking to redeem themselves. With Paul Oyama, he's looking to get himself back, climb above that mountain after he fell so far in singles. And so him coming back with Lon is doing himself a service so much better, and the chemistry works well for both of these teams together. And we can't forget about the promos. The promos for this match in particular were fan-fucking-tastic. Compared to Collins, and they're like, they're really good, but they're so
Can
chill.
I just throw in another thing? How we're saying that this match didn't have storyline. At the end of this match literally started the storyline for season 8. After this match,
but we already knew. But we already knew that was going to happen. This is why I said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have spoilers? How did we know this was going to happen? What did we know was going to happen?
Because it was taped. Because it was taped. No. I'm saying, but it was taped.
Going to happen regardless of who won.
Exactly. Storylines were good, but let me talk about how Alex said that about raw knowledge and storyline. Look at this Star Wars match between Cabrera and Andrew DeMolanta. You're talking about an 0-2 guy who says he's not gotten the respect to run through a tournament. He beat Molly Damon, which is a great player in Star Wars, and he beat Scrimshaw, which was, like Alex said, one of the best matches of the year. To play a person that had to play a play-in match, who beat Ken Knapsack, beat Laura Kelly, who we all thought was going to play DeMolanta in the finals. And you're talking about story. That's two of the greatest stories this year. Not only that, Star Wars has the most knowledge you need to know, because it's one of the hardest divisions. This is why Ben Bateman himself says he needs more.
I don't want to get started on the goddamn 60-day conversation. So do not get me
I was going to say he needs. When Ben Bateman said he needed only 60 days, everybody was like, "You're damn near crazy." Not only that. Why are you flipping me off? Don't flip me off.
That's that stupid statement.
Jillian, at this
Something
point,
about the Star Wars
he's
division in
trolling.
particular
At
is that-
this point, he doesn't.
Well, at this
believe it.
point, he's totally trolling. But
I just
now
want to say,
he's gonna keep trolling
Alex, I'll
me,
let you
so
say,
shut the fuck
Alex,
up.
I'll let you say one more thing after this, and I'll say this. My boy Justin in the chat did help me remind me of this, because remember at this time when this match was happening, there was almost 1,200 people watching, and then it shot up crazily because it ended up on the front page of Twitch, and I think at one point had. I forgot how many people now, but there was a lot of people watching that match. There wasn't a lot of people, like maybe Spectacular, yeah, because we're all fans because it's Spectacular, but nobody was really. There was like what 900 people, maybe 1,000 watching that match, and then the final exam, odd couple match. People watched it on replay, but nobody really was invested like they were.
Counterpoint: the Star Wars division has a different viewership because it's Star Wars.
Yeah, I also
but it was one of the best tournaments this year. One of the best
Again,
tournaments.
I don't disagree with that.
Viewership. If you remember, if you actually look back to a lot of I remember going to one of my first live events in Chicago. It was at the Star Wars celebration was happening, and it was for Damon's the 50th belt defense, and then Bateman was like Bateman Odd Couple was going up against Who's the Boss. It was a whole thing, but after the end of the Star Wars match, it was a full jam-packed auditorium. Like 3/4 of the crowd left. And that was a Star Wars match, and that's what happened. And thing is, like you said, I'm just confirming everything Jillian just said. It has a very specific audience focus, and that's very different from Schmoedown. Not to say that you can't be a fan of both, obviously, but the Star Wars is a very different conversation as far as audience focus. Now, mine in particular. Specifically, is that even if you're new to Schmoedown, even if you don't know about the history or the characters or the dynamics, you are going to get all of that in my match. Versus like Adam Collins versus Dan Murrell. You're absolutely right. They do introduce the war storyline and the draft storyline and all that wonderful greatness, but that's what's going to happen inevitably. So you never know what was going to happen. We wouldn't have this amazing storyline that ended up coming out between Shazam and the Odd Couple, and how amazing that was, versus also Ace Cabrera. In particular, he definitely did have a really great Cinderella story and everything. However, if you're not a big Star Wars person like me, that's not going to mean much. It's a very new. It's like I'm not enjoying it to the same extent as someone that is a true Star Wars fan. I'm not going to be able to get a lot of the references or anything, obviously. So I watched this match, and as someone that's in love with Schmoedown, I watch it, but my heart is not going to be in it the same way versus singles, teams, or even IG.
I don't know about that one. I think your heart. All right. I think your heart.
We have to put a little.
I was going to say we're going to be here for 9 hours.
Yeah.
We're going to do 30 minutes.
We're going to have to pump the brakes on this one just a little bit, as I am
getting real heated.
I mean, I'm not that shocked. Let's be honest. Because
we're passionate.
Yeah,
that's what.
We're
passionate.
This show we have a lot of passionate individuals. I'm just. All right. So after the
Jake Berlin, you shut your mouth, okay?
This is our score. This is our score as of right now. It is pretty close. Shug made a definite comeback there.
There was a point in which Shug was tied, was ahead. It was back and forth for a while there, actually. The amount of points that people were making there, it was actually pretty for one thing, I personally haven't paid attention to the Star Wars. I never paid attention to the Star Wars tournament. I didn't watch it. It's just because it didn't click with me, but I know there's so many people that love it, but that's just for me. But the kind of arguments that were made, really, I thought it clicked with me a lot, despite me not being someone who actually watched them. So I was giving some extra points based on that. But overall, this is pretty cutthroat right from the beginning.
Which is what the whole plan was. That was the whole point. It's what I wanted. Why not do this with all these after shows? Like, you might as well do it with all these after shows and everyone like, going after each other. This is going exactly like I wanted it to. Moving on to our next one. There were some great singles matches this year.
Wait, did I just win the first one?
By a point.
Yeah, technically
you are leading.
Leading. You're leading after this one. What matters is after round 5 is done, whoever are the top 2 people who have points, they get to go into the final round. But yes, technically you can say that because you can unequivocally say that after round 1, you technically won.
This is the only one I'm gonna have, guys.
Jake, didn't Christian ask for this? Didn't he ask he won a podcast for?
Why didn't we not do this before the awards? This would have been the smartest thing to do.
All right, here's the deal.
You know what? All right.
It's okay. Yeah, moving
on. So,
moving on.
Next up is we have Singles Player of the Year. There were some great singles matches this year. Literally, the singles tournament alone was some of the best singles matches we've ever gotten. So, for Singles Player of the Year, here are the nominees. Ethan Irwin, Liz Shannon Miller, Jeff Snyder, Dan Murrell, and the winner, Singles Player of the Year, should probably rename it Singles Midway Player of the Year. But we're not going to go into that there. Starting with Jillian, did the right person win, or did you think it was someone else?
Oh, I thought the right person won. Like, there was only a few awards that I disagreed with, to be 100% honest. This 100% went to Adam Collins. Again, like I said, he was not supposed to be in the draft. He was not supposed to play this season. He was the replacement in corruption for Nerd Chronic because Nerd Chronic could not compete anymore. He was plucked and he was in a play-in match, went into the tournament, destroyed the tournament. He TKO'd, he KO'd, he won in overtime. He had every single scenario you can have in a tournament, and he dominated. People think he's boring. I think you're insane. He is so freaking entertaining.
Jeff is one of those people, by the way. Jeff is one of those people. He says Collins is boring. We have a friend, Pardis, who is all in on Collins, and I think Jeff just does it to troll him at this point.
If you think Adam Collins is boring, then you probably think Dan Murrell is boring too, and he's a freaking GOAT for a reason. They have the exact same personalities, and I think they're both freaking great. Adam Collins 100% deserved to be Singles Player of the Year because he dominated. He dominated the tournament. He won the belt. I don't see anyone else who would even be remotely close other than someone who lost to him in the tournament. He won the tournament. Someone's not going to win Singles Player of the Year and lose in the singles tournament. It's not going to happen. He 100% deserved that award, and I can't see anyone else going against him.
Looks like your podcast mate is calling you out. Are you going to let him down? Was Collins the correct choice?
I'm going to have to let him down.
Okay.
No, Collins is absolute choice, but I'm going to make an argument for Dan. No. It's not that. Collins is a choice because of what he
came on the argument show to make an argument.
Yeah, but you got to look at Dan Murrell. Let's be honest. He started off not the champion. He beat Ben Bateman, to win the championship, and then he defended it. He defended it Ben Bateman. He defended it against Ethan Irwin. Going into Spectacular, a lot of people had Dan Murrell beating Adam Collins, and rightfully so because Dan Murrell, like Jillian said, is the GOAT. And so, as much as I agree with Jillian, absolutely Collins is Singles Player of the Year. I think Dan Murrell really, really barely missed it.
I agree.
Barely.
Dan Murrell's up there, but you agree that Adam Collins is Player of the Year.
I would agree, but I wouldn't be upset if people would have picked Murrell. No, if Murrell would have won that, I would not have been upset. So I agree with you. But I think Dan Murrell, it's closer to what you think because I saw Justin, I saw Jake. If you don't pick Collins, but I think Murrell puts up a hell of a fight.
I would say Dan would have won had he defended the belt from Collins. Had he defended the belt from Collins, then Dan Murrell would have been Singles Player of the Year. He lost the belt to Adam Collins, who destroyed the singles tournament. So Adam Collins.
Yes, but I know he. Yes, I know he won it twice. That's what I said, and he won it from Bateman and then defended it twice. Bateman and Ethan Irwin.
Alex, what about you? What do you think?
My pick was honestly Adam Collins. Can I pick Adam Collins or no?
Yeah, this is just like, do you agree? Do you disagree? How much do you agree?
Again,
like, look at that.
Okay. Going into this, Adam Collins was a surefire rookie. He ended up going into the singles tournament. No one expected that he was going to go into it like the way he did. He was drafted middle of the year by corruption, and it was like Shannon like drafted him being like, he has a few matches up online. I'll check him out. Let's see what happens. Little did she know, he ended up being like putting on corruption's faction over 30 flippin' points. She is a reason. Adam Collins is actually specifically the reason why corruption not only is faction of the year, but also Shannon being manager of the year. But Adam Collins is a reason why the entire faction overall is as successful as they are this entire season because of his surefire win. He was the only competitor left in corruption that actually survived past the second round, and it's crazy. And he had a play-in match. Can't forget that. He ended up going up against John Roca, huge, and today he's only like I think he's has gotten 7 questions wrong. I'm sorry. How many of
Frankie numbers, where are you?
Yeah, so it's just like he's only had 7 questions wrong. It's an entire career. That also includes teams. So we're not going to talk about him as a teams competitor, but him being vaulted here. Shannon has mentioned not only as a fantastic as a rookie, working with other competitors, he is really great with strategy. He's helping Mike and Chance with their strategy. And Chance is like, obviously he's doing his thing. He's killing it. Same for Mike, but they didn't exactly come to play for the singles tournament. Adam did. He was the only one remaining. Shannon put a lot of pressure on him, and she's like, hey, I need you to win this. I do. You and Marisol was out. She was tossed out by Polyama, obviously, but she needed him to win. And he ended up defeating not only John Roca, Brendan Meyer, Lon, Liz Shannon Miller. I think, was it Liz Shannon Miller the last one? I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, so Liz Shannon Miller, and defeating Snyder, almost a whole bunch of champions, some of them not champions, but a whole bunch of really incredibly talented people. No other competitor had the same path to the belt that he did. No other. We've talked about how Polyama had a very similar route. No, he did not. He did not go up against champions. He did not have a similar situation, singles tournament situation that he did. He is the best rookie and best singles competitor we've had in a very long time.
Well, that's not true. Polyama did
yeah, but I'm sorry. Did he play lawn or literally?
I mean, he beat Dan Murrow. He beat Dan Murrow
once, and he lost it in like 2 seconds, my dude. Let's not. No,
he defended it. He defended it. He defended it. He beat Snyder. He beat Snyder. And he defended it. You can't argue that. I mean, I love Adam Collins. Look at on my last show, I confess my love to Adam Collins. Okay?
We're not here to compare Polyama's career versus a rookie of the year, because this is not the conversation.
They were both rookies.
Because that's not the conversation we're having. We're arguing I know. Competitor of the year. Again, he is the single player of the year, and he would annihilate Polyama. And I say that's someone that absolutely adores Polyama.
I'm gonna text him that you said that. Hold on.
His
let me pull up Polyama.
I know. I'm not, and I get that, Alex. We're not arguing that, but I'm just saying. You're saying we've never seen this before. When we have, we saw it with
Polyama. I've not seen a rookie drafted half in the middle of the year.
No, we didn't, because that's because right. Adam Collins wasn't.
How many other competitors, rookies, let alone have had less than 10 questions wrong in their entire career?
Let's be honest.
Kevin Smets.
No.
How many?
No.
Kevin Smets.
I get what you're saying. Kevin Smets is one of them. I think even
other than his title match.
I think even though Parker lost, he didn't miss many questions.
No, they didn't have to play in a singles tournament like this. This is the first we've had like
no. Well, why would we have the tournament? Yes,
different situation. This is comparing apples to oranges. These are very
no.
different.
You're right. I'm
agreeing with the best rookie careers of all time. That would be. Actually, I feel like that would be a really great conversation to have on Schmoedawn. Actually, now that I think about it.
No. In the middle of this show. Wow.
Okay, and on that point. Okay, we're done on that. We're done on that topic. We're done with that one, Jeff.
We draw the line at plugging your own show in your argument.
The idea of who has like had the best rookie season of all time.
Kevin Smets.
Yes. No.
I feel like it would be Kevin Smets, but some people would argue Adam Collins.
I think Adam Collins of who he beat.
I feel like that'd be a really good conversation.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love Smets, look at who Collins beat. He beat Snyder. He beat Roca, he beat Lon Harris, he beat Liz Shannon Miller and Brendan Meyer the Kid. And Brendan Meyer the Kid, I actually had him winning this tournament. So I'm not disagreeing that Collins should have been Player of the Year. I'm just all I said was, damn, to me, when you said, Alex, that you said we haven't seen this before. We've kind of seen it with Oyama, not to the extent that Adam Collins did it, but also too, let's look at the advantage Adam Collins had. He did have to play digitally, whereas Oyama had to fly in to play matches in the studios and live events, which Adam Collins hasn't done. And that is the biggest question now with Adam Collins. Can he play in a live setting, or can he play a studio match and be done? I think he can. I think he can.
I'm sorry, I know he ended, but I effing hate that argument that you won because it was digital. Let's see you play in live. Let's see you play live studio. That was the most bogus, most throwaway argument I've heard from players. I've heard from so many people. It is such BS. He beat Dan Murrell. He could have done it in front of a crowd of 500 or in his living room by himself.
No, that's not true. That's not true because Dan Murrell is undefeated in live events.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter. No, it does matter. You cannot
sit here and say it doesn't matter if he is undefeated in a live event.
Dan Murrell is undefeated in live events. I'm sorry.
Sorry. All right.
Okay.
I can't say that.
All right. This is going exactly how I wanted it to. This is so great. This is so great.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Jillian. I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm not. But people have that argument, though. People have that argument, Joe. I agree. I agree with you. It is BS.
Holding it against competitor when it's not their fault.
I agree. I agree.
That's like saying, you know what, Alex Damon, you should never be considered for Star Wars Competitor of the Year because you never had the chance to go through a tournament. Therefore, why should you even be consideration? You have to do it.
Hey, I'm not the one saying it. I agree with you guys.
You're not the one saying it, but you're saying it's a good idea to say that it's okay.
Because it's something that people bring up. It's something we bring up. People bring it up.
He still beat Murrell either way. He still beat Snyder. He still beat all these competitors.
We are done with this topic. Here is our updated scores.
Look at Shug.
Wow.
Yeah, Shug had some solid points there. So moving on to topic number 3 is
real quick here. Just want to just explain something. The show, of course, called Schmoe Me The Money. No, there's no actual money. There will be no money shown. However, if you would like to do so, we do have a Streamlabs set up. I put it in the chat here for anyone who would like to help donate. If you have any comments that you want to say,
also,
anything.
If you donate, that these winnings could go to the winner going forward. So that could be some incentive.
Just so you know, that I wasn't a part of a conversation where that happened yet. So this is news to me.
I'm just saying.
This wasn't in the contract.
This was one of the best. What I enjoyed about that conversation was how each of you said yes, Collins, and then you still argued the shit out of each other there. You just yelled at each other, even though you all said Collins.
Okay, moving on to our next topic to discuss. There were some great moments throughout season 7 of the new era. It literally started at the draft when Shannon's broke up the the Wild Berries, which for me, that was moment of the year, but it didn't win, unfortunately. The other nominees were Merle versus Collins, the post interview, Bibiani and Andreyko during Spectacular 5, and then Smith gives Jericho Kevin Smith movies, and the winner, Merle says, I won. He is in shock. Alex, what was your moment of the year?
Can you repeat the options again?
So we have Merle versus Collins, post-interview at Spectacular. Shannon drafts Dewberry, breaks up the Wild Berries. Merle versus Bateman, I won. Bibiani and Andreyko at Spectacular. And then Smith gives Jericho Kevin Smith movies. Okay, I guess she's not ready. Shug.
Yeah. So no.
I don't know. I'm sorry. We're already pretty long here.
It's fine.
All right. Well, I don't know what Alex is going to, so I hope I don't steal hers. But I think moment of the year, because Jillian, you were there, Alex, you were there live, was Shannon drafting Dewberry. Yes, this wasn't a classic. We broke up one of the best teams, but it was unexpected. The way she did it after Winston had came up and was saying wild berries, everyone thinking Swag was going to have wild berries. For her to have the moxie, and she was new to the Schmoedown. We kind of knew about Shannon, but this was the first time that the character of the Queen had appeared. And that's when she became known as the Queen, because she walked up there, said her piece, and broke up the wild berries. And I remember seeing Jill there. Her face was like, what the hell? Mark Riley stands up, covering his mouth. You know, everybody, there was a gasp in there. I think even people started cussing at her because I was there live. So it was absolutely amazing. It's one of the best moments of the year. And so I think that was moment of the year, even though the Merle I won was great. Shannon drafting Dewberry was absolutely the moment of the year.
Alex, do you have anything else?
Is Jillian? Did Jillian pick the same one?
Yeah, I'll just go. Yeah, I was gonna pick the same one. Like Shug had said, I was there live. I literally had Josh McCouga at the table next to me, and then Elliot Dewberry a couple tables over. And I've been to the studio multiple times. I had seen Shannon before she became the Queen of Corruption, before she became a manager, and she was there to support Mike. And so to see her going from Mike's support system to becoming this powerhouse of a manager, all starting because of this one moment where she told Christian Harloff, watch this. And she walked on that stage and she said, Elliot Dewberry, you're mine. And the roof blew off the ceiling. It was a complete chaos madhouse. That was the moment that started season 7, in my opinion. That was the moment that kicked it off. That started all the character work, the heels, the factions. This is when we really realized, oh, factions are really a thing this season. No one's playing nice. No one's going to be buddy-buddy with each other. No, we're here to break hearts and to win points. And Shannon proved that on day 1. And this was robbed of moment of the year, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
My moment of the year is the Bibbs versus Andreyko, and I say that for several reasons. One is because this is a very emotional, pivotal match. It was like very similar to you guys. It was live. It was during Spectacular. It was one of the big matches of the evening. It was The Odd Couple versus Shazam. Shazam, obviously, having the belt match. Now, The Odd Couple, obviously, just like any competitor getting to this point, worked very hard. They did. Snyder, he lost to Collins. Collins just won the belt. And The Odd Couple are freaking the F out going into this match. This match is filled with drama. It is a scary match to watch because I remember looking at the chats, everyone was being like, yeah, Odd Couple got lucky. Andreyko, absolutely not. He should not be a champion. Snyder, how the F? No, this is like, some people said that this is cheating. This is all these wild, ridiculous allegations saying The Odd Couple didn't deserve it. And Bibbs just cut right across that and said, you guys deserve this belt. You guys genuinely won. You did it. You got it. And Bibbs versus Andreyko has this really interesting history because Bibbs actually played against Andreyko for the first time way back when in the first season 2 or 3. And Bibbs beat Andreyko in a perfect match. And so their relationship in particular is very interesting. They talk all the time about how they love getting together behind the scenes. They're some of their favorite fellow Schmoedown competitors just hang and talk with in person. And so Bibbs has mentioned on numerous times that this is something he was ecstatic to have this moment and give the belt to Andreyko, but he can't do that. He can't do it in person. So he's going to do the best thing that he could. He's going to tell him exactly why he deserved this, in spite of all these fucking awful people and the fans in the chat rooms that are saying he doesn't deserve it when they do. The real genuine love that Schmoedown has, the competitors have for each other, really came through in this moment. It is a moment of relief for not only Andreyko but also as Snyder. There's a lot of conversation about Snyder. He's he's not a good competitor anymore. He shouldn't be here. He should just retire. And he just solidified it. And he's like, no, I did deserve it. And he did. And he got that belt and he nailed it. And they had that conversation with Bibbs. It was wonderful. And there's such a genuine level of respect. The drama was real. It was completely improvised. No one knew it was going to happen versus this really great moment with the Wildberries. It's a great moment, but it's a very quick moment that ended so quick. And I remember being there and I remember freaking out, and because the lid completely blew off the roof. However, we were already on to the next thing 5 minutes later because it is a draft and we had to move the conversation going, finding out who is the next person being drafted in the next one. And I agree. This is definitely one of my favorite storylines throughout the entire Schmoedown history. The Wildberries are my favorite teams in Schmoedown. However, we didn't really see it come through until the very end of the season when they finally broke up towards the very end. And let's face it, it kind of fizzled out a little bit. I mean, let's be honest, what a great moment for the match, but it wasn't even the best match of best match from that evening, from that live event. But this moment was, even if you don't care about Schmoedown, even if you don't even care about the history and the storylines, you're going to cry and you're going to love this beautiful moment between these fantastic competitors, these beautiful people. The story production is there, that in a way that doesn't have that.
Counterpoint, I would like to use Alex's argument against her and say that, yes, while the moment of the Wildberries was quick and sudden and we had to go to the next thing, we are still talking about it a year later. The Andreyko and Bibiani share a moment. I honestly don't even remember that happening because I was too busy discussing the match to even realize this had happened. So for me, this was something that completely I missed. Was Snyder even there for this? That's one thing that was he there for this part or was he gone? Was this just Andreyko and Bibiani?
They were on the screen together. Yeah, okay. They kept they were talking, but they were they kept going between
why was it just two people? Why couldn't both of these people say something? Why did it have to be one person and one person? But for me, I don't even really remember this happening. It's a cute little moment. Yay, congratulations, here's your belt, you deserved it, I love you. That's cute, that's sweet. I love Bibiani, I love Jeff, I love Andreyko, I love Brendan. But the Wildberries getting broken up, while yes, there wasn't that big huge storyline with the Wildberries until the retirement match, this is what set in stone for corruption for the entire season and showing that Shannon was not a manager to be messed with, and she was going to break you. If you did not belong on her team, you were going to get cut. Bonnie Somerville is prime example of that. Shannon was ruthless this season, and this was the prime example of that, and it was her first managerial moment where she just wrecked shop.
I definitely agree with you there. It was definitely, to me, it was one of the most pivotal moments for corruption. But I don't think it was the most pivotal moments for Schmoedown this entire season. Not only just because, like you said, it was definitely, to me, it was like the best moment of the entire draft. And like you said, it's a draft, things move along, come and go and everything. It really set the tone for corruption overall. I do think, however, that Shannon had this really great moment and it was really great. However, it not only it just fizzled out a little bit, but also
I gotta disagree with you. Outside
of the retirement match, I mean, even Josh Makuga. I mean, he had a real big. That was a real big response, and Josh Makuga, and I feel awful. I can't remember his name. What's his name? I feel awful. I can't remember his name. That's awful.
Elliot Berry.
But I think what you're losing the point, though, Alex, is this is not about the Wildberries.
No,
this is about Shannon. This is about Shannon. When she broke up the Wildberries, this introduced us into the Queen of Corruption, and actually it affected all the managers because you remember Winston then wanted to get the Wildberries back together. Then Winston kind of turned and started going after Roxy. And the next category we're going to talk about, which is Feud of the Year, two of those include Shannon. She had feuds with not only Roxy, not only Winston, she had feuds with Dagnito. Her and Kate had some good stuff.
Didn't she have a feud with is the real question.
But this set her on a level of being a heel. Like, she didn't win heel of the year, but she was pretty damn close to being heel of the year.
Robbed of heel of the year.
But I think the reason she didn't win heel of the year is because how much people loved her as a character, and it also showed what she would do to win. Look at and even Jillian made a good point. Look at what she did. Bonnie Somerville loses her match. She kicks her out. She then goes and starts scouting and gets Adam Collins. She's over there training and making sure all of her players are
available before she dropped Bonnie Somerville on her roster because
she traded Bonnie. She traded Bonnie.
Yeah, she did trade it. Yeah, but she already had a spot available for Adam Collins before Bonnie.
Yeah, but she still had to go out and look.
I do think that, like I said, it was one of the greatest moments. And like we kind of have a slight bias here because this was a live event and we were all there. And like you said, absolutely, that moment where she said, "Watch this." To Christian, with that everything going on behind the scene where you can have Josh Makuga next to you be like, what the a lot of those are some of the greatest moments that make that moment great. However, if you were not there, you were not going to be able to get the same kind of impact.
But
that,
it's still
no, I disagree.
It's still one moment of the year, and how many people can fit in that Comedy Store? 50, and it's still one moment.
But I'll disagree. A lot of people were talking about it. And not only that, it was when they finally played it for people, for the general public. Remember, because it was a premiere, people absolutely lost their minds in the chat. So that impact was felt from at the day it happened, the day they premiered it. And if you go right now, if I go to any Schmoedown fan and say, tell me a moment that shocked the hell out of you, they're not going to talk about Andrejko Bibbs. No. They're going to either talk about Shannon or they're going to talk about something else, but they're not going to talk about Andrejko Bibbs. Even though I agree with you, Alex, it's a great moment. It's a personal moment. I am not discounting that, but I don't think people are going to bring that up. They're going to talk about Shannon and what Shannon did. Go ahead.
All right. That wraps up that one because I'm trying to keep this at an hour, and we are
we're at an hour.
Yeah, we're taking a little bit of a left turn. We are not doing Feud of the Year. We're just going to skip Feud of the Year because we're literally feuding. Yeah, we're literally feuding.
We all agree it was Roxy versus Shannon, right?
So we're moving on to the final topic before the finals. So this one for me wasn't even a debate, but apparently with some people it was. So the nominees for Player of the Year, which I think a lot of people just assume is like singles, but it's not. For me, it includes singles, teams play, character work, cutscenes, a lot of that. So the nominees were Andres Escobar, Chance Ellison, Dan Marl, Adam Collins, and the winner, much deserved in my opinion, Jeff the N. Snyder, who me and Jeff have actually gotten to talked to you a couple of times.
We had a thing happen. He called us out. He on our other channel when we watched stuff or when we said stuff where we thought no one was watching. Jeff was.
Can I just say, I feel like you're not an official after show until Jeff Snyder calls you out, and then you are officially an after show. Like, that's like a badge. That's like the official, I'm now an after show badge. It's when Jeff Snyder decides to call you out. That's when you know you've made it. So
yeah, there's no doubt about that. So with this final topic, we're going to give you, all three of you, you have 2 minutes. There'll be a timer in the top.
We ruined it, you guys. We're getting timed.
I know, right?
Because I don't want to go too long.
We go in this 2 minutes episode. Come on.
2 minutes. Player of the year. Did the right person win? If not, go.
Oh, look, we got a timer. Wait, who's going first? Are we just
Let's
yelling?
go.
Oh, we're just yelling at each other?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Snyder deserves to win because he not only earned more than 30 plus points for the entire for his faction, but he earned actually more percentage, had a bigger percentage impact for his faction compared to Adam Collins, who had a slightly less. I think Collins, he's absolutely wonderful, but Snyder, he is coming full force with his redemption story, his real Cinderella story. Scratch that, not a Cinderella story. He had a real redemption story, not only doing so amazingly well compared to his previous matches in singles, but he actually also improved his singles percentage by I think like 15 or 20%, which is like insane.
Breaking numbers for stats.
Yeah, no, I agree. Alex, I agree everything with what you say, and I do believe Snyder deserves Player of the Year because he did do it in teams and singles. But I do also think that Roxy deserves a lot of that credit for it because she kept him in the game. Because the one problem Snyder had is in a lot of his matches, he was almost about to check out. You saw in the Ethan Irwin match at the beginning of this year that he absolutely gave up. So he is a strong player, and I totally agree with you. I just think that, and I think a lot of people are too much giving it to him, like. Fully.
I disagree. Well, yes, Roxy was there to help bring that out of him. It was 100% Snyder who agreed to allow her to help him. He could have just completely shoved her off, but he was the better person and said, "Yes, come here and break down my wall."
Roxy's a very strong personality.
Not to mention the singles. He dominated in singles this year. He won the team's belt this year, but he's also very interactive with fans. And for me, that's a big deal when it comes to overall Player of the Year.
But also, you can't forget Snyder. You can't forget Snyder in that championship match. That championship match, Snyder. But Snyder in that championship match, and Draco in that championship match kind of helped carried him in that match. So you got to give a little credit to Snyder. To Andreko.
Give credit to Andreko because they're a team.
I like how it's over.
Yeah, but he didn't play. He didn't really play as good as he that. I know he's played here. I'm not disagreeing.
Are we still going? The 2 minutes passed. I don't want to.
We're gonna have more time on here just because the 2 minutes to test it out was just a little short in order to get everyone's opinions in. So
cool. I was like, I don't want to run over you all the time. I agree.
We're all getting through this together. Okay, keep going, guys.
But for me, yes, it was because he dominated in the singles tournament. He lost to Adam Collins in the final question of the round.
He didn't dominate.
He did. Yeah, he lost to the future singles champion. He dominated.
I consider Collins dominant. I think Collins dominated more than he did. But
because Collins eventually won the championship belt, but Snyder lost to one person in that tournament, and it was the person who eventually took the belt from Dan Murrell. So there's 1 point for Snyder. 2, he ended the season with the team's belt. He got the team's belt back, and he was great in all of his matches this entirety of the season. He did not have one bad match this entire season. Well, yes, people could say,
"What are you talking about?" Ethan Irwin, he gave up in the first round.
Did he not beat Ethan Irwin?
He came back and beat him. Yes, absolutely.
I do think something to remember.
His bad match, he beat Ethan Irwin. So, what's the argument there? Even in his bad match, he beat former singles champion Ethan Irwin.
Yeah. But who's the person that got him back in the match? But who got him back into the right mindset?
Snyder, that was not manager of the year. This is player of the year.
Player of the year. I'm agreeing Snyder should be player of the year, but I'm saying don't say it's such a big gap. It's not that big of a gap.
I'm saying it's a big gap.
I honestly think I don't think it's a huge gap, but I think it is a good chunk of a gap. Just because if we're going to be talking about Player of the Year, I'm thinking of all-encompassing Player of the Year. I'm thinking of not only his matches, I'm thinking about his interviews. I'm thinking about his promos, his stuff behind the scenes. I'm thinking of his awesome interviews with you guys. Yeah. You know, it's everything involved with it, everything. And this more than any other year, not only is he just more interactive, I understand that doesn't impact his stats or anything, but he's never been more interactive. He improved so much. His interaction, his abilities as a competitor, his strategy, he studies now. Like, who is this guy?
Talking to everybody. Jeff Sneider.
We never saw this side of Sneider as a player before, and it really showed us not only that Sneider is the best. This is the best version of Sneider the way we've ever seen as a competitor.
1 minute.
Was he also nominated for Comeback Player of the Year? Because you can also kind of argue that he could have also won that award as well.
Well, let's not talk about Comeback Player of the Year because
how well he did
Christian made some weird things.
We're not
for that.
talking about Christian Harloff here. We're talking about Jeff Sneider.
I know, but you're talking about but Comeback Player. I don't even want to talk about it. But what I'll say is, if Jeff Sneider was the best player on the Rockstars, other than Alex Damon, because of what Jeff Sneider did. You're right. He ran through the singles tournament, and then he helped run through the teams tournament. And so that's why I believe he won Comeback Player of the Year. Player of the Year was because he was the best player on the Stars, the Rockstars.
Sneider is the reason why Roxy was nominated for Manager of the Year.
100%.
Yes, Sneider is the reason why they were also Sneider is the reason why obviously that they won the team belt. Sneider is the reason why the Rockstars were at the bottom for such a long time as a faction, and they climbed the F up to maybe not the top.
They got the third, but okay.
They were the top three.
I don't understand how
third in a matter of months.
I don't understand how people even question this win that Jeff Sneider was Player of the Year. I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Understand.
I just don't think the gap is as wide as people.
I never said there was a huge gap, but
I'm not saying you, Jillian. I'm saying people.
Well, yes, I don't even think
he
should have won this. Astounds me.
I do think that
I don't think anybody was close to winning this.
Maybe it's not a huge gap, but it's definitely a good enough gap where if we're talking about just the numbers, or if we're talking about the all-encompassing competitor.
And that is it. That was fun. Wasn't it?
You have fun with that? Are we going to have a timer? Are we not going to have a timer? When's the timer going to end? Are we going to add another timer onto that? Come back next week to do the exact same thing.
We're learning. Yay.
We're all learning.
Exactly. This is our pilot. So we're doing things on the fly here as I am currently updating the scores here. This is going to be interesting. We'll see what everyone thinks of this. And with the two winners on this,
the two going into the final round.
Yes, we will have two of the three going into the final round.
Back out.
It's Alex and Jillian.
He's not wrong. It is Alex and Jillian.
Alex and
Jillian really in that final one for Play of the Year offered more.
I thought that what ended up happening was Alex started speaking a bit at the beginning, but then she took a back seat for a large chunk in the middle. But I think Alex really came in strong at like the tail end there and really kind of dominated that last third of this whole round. And I think that's what really helped put you ahead at the end there. So,
yeah, I don't like talking over people. Okay. I'm not rude.
Well, that's the point of this, is to be rude and biased and against each other.
Huge a-hole.
All right.
I couldn't be rude to these lovely young ladies, so I wouldn't do that.
What you told me before the show. Exactly. So, Sugar's gone. There.
Oh, not even a goodbye. Fine.
No. We will bring him back.
We're ruthless here. We are ruthless at this show.
We will bring Sugar back here, but our final topic is, I think, one of the most heavily debated awards of the night, Manager of the Year. manager, that alone, I think, is very subjective as to what do you think is the best manager of the year. The nominees were Coy Jandreau, Finstock, which I still don't know why he was on there. He didn't do anything. Roxy Stryer, Winston Marshall, Shannon Barney, who ended up winning the Queen of Corruption. I believe it was her third award of the night. She ended up getting 3 that night. So this is how the final round is going to work. 2 minutes for each person, uninterrupted. So each person will get 2 minutes to give their points. Do they agree? Who should it have been someone else, or why it should have been? So because the winner or the leader after all the rounds so far is Alex, she will get to go first. You have 2 minutes to say, was Shannon the one that was supposed to win? If not, who should it have been?
Can Jillian go first?
Sure. Yes, you can.
So you could go off of what I say and see how you're.
No, because I haven't decided yet. That's why I literally haven't decided yet.
You don't remember who you voted for?
No, I don't remember, to be honest. Because I just remember being like between these two, but now I can't remember, to be honest. I just remember being and like going back and forth between these two like people. But I mean, I can go. I mean, I can
go for it. You can do it.
All right.
All right. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll start a timer.
Shannon 100% deserves Manager of the Year because not only does she get the Faction Manager of the Year, but she drafted the best, has the greatest moments from the entire year, but also she has an incredible skill to not only work with really great competitors and veteran competitors such as Chance Ellison and Mike Kalinowski, but also she has the ability to work well with rookies. She had the best rookies, knowing no idea going into it what to expect, and she ended up getting a champion. Who the heck expected Adam Collins? She did. She started working with him actually very early on. She was also the only manager that actually responded to him when he actually followed up with a handful of managers. And she was like, okay, let's chat. She was the only one to take a risk on a rookie that no one knew about. And she went in for it and she was well rewarded. Also, can't forget Marisol. Marisol was also drafted at the very beginning of the year. Again, I just want to reaffirm that she drafted the best. She has the greatest moments of the year. She, like you said, with the Wild Berries moment, one of my favorite moments of the year. Oh my gosh, it really set the tone for who she is as a manager, what to expect. But she is also the greatest heel and motivator of the entire Schmoedown this season overall. She's great. Everyone loves her. She's wonderful.
Do you defer your 45 seconds?
I have a lot. Okay, so
I feel like you got more time, girl.
More than that, she has also this season. She also has she had the most iconic feuds between not only her and Roxy, but her and Winston. Can't forget that. And she is not only she creates the best promos. Even earlier this season, when she wasn't doing great with her, she kept losing some of her matches in the singles and everything. With some of her newer competitors, she whipped out this song that no one saw coming with a ukulele, and everyone loved it. It was so flipping catchy. How many other managers or just Schmoedown personalities has that ability? I don't like this.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No.
This is really hard. I don't like this.
All right. So let's start with Miss Shannon Barney. Like I said before, she started as Mike's little support system, and we really got to see her grow through this season. She started off rocky. I'll be the first to admit that. Corruption had a really effing rocky start. But even from that, we saw some magic from Shannon. She put players together that we never would have expected. The Experiment, Elliot Dewberry and Hoik, that was insanity. That was craziness. It was pure storyline. It was great. And then some rocky stuff from Corruption, but we saw her learn and develop and change stuff around to become the literal queen, not only Corruption, but the effing Schmoedown. There is a reason why she wears that crown, because she freaking deserves it. She took Corruption, she took Team Corruption to a team's title championship match where they won it this season. They won the belts those seasons. Then we got the Corruption IG Invitational, where we had both Chance Ellison and Mike Kalinowski make it to the final. finals. They completely wiped out the entire IG tournament. You get the powerhouse that is Laura Kelly in the Star Wars tournament, and then you get Adam Collins, who dominates the singles tournament and gets that championship belt on his shoulders. So Shannon had this great season where we saw the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. Not to mention, I have heard the study sessions that goes with corruption. They are a team. They are a family. Mm-hmm. That is why everyone who is currently on corruption right now does not want to go to another faction. They want to stay with the queen. They want to stay with corruption. She is a family. She is great. And she also knows how to interact with fans. I have been in a Twitter feud with Miss Shannon Barney because my boyfriend went up against Laura Kelly in the Star Wars tournament, and we went at it, and she did not hesitate to come at me because I was with him studying. She is ruthless, she is great, and she's not afraid to mess with anybody because she is the queen. She's going to knock you down off your pedestal, and she's going to push you off and take that gold medal for herself because she effing deserves it.
All right. That was
Jillian, you won, girl. That was amazing. That was like 100% it.
I need to do like
the extra points that I totally spaced on. I was like, I totally spaced on all these points, but I was like, yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page here.
Jillian had some solid points there, but there are also some things that she didn't. But after further discussion, after all the points have been tallied up, and our winner for the first ever Schmoe Me The Money is Jillian Marie from a certain point of view.
Thank you.
Jillian, how does it feel to finally have this done with?
Oh, I love arguing with people. It's great. I'm just kidding. No, that was so much fun. Oh my god, I'm so glad that it was like me and Alex and Shug because we love each other dearly. And if it was like someone that I didn't really know, I would be afraid to like do this with them because I don't want them to think I'm a POS. Like I don't want them to think I'm like this horrible human being that's gonna like grill into them.
We can never think that, Jillian.
No, Jillian, you're amazing.
Like never in a million years.
That's why I'm so glad it's you guys, or else I would have been like a lot more hesitant. But like I know you guys know me, so I knew I could like go at it and y'all wouldn't take it personally. So
this was really close. I mean, like at the end here, we're not gonna like throw up a graphic on there. It was 101 to 102. It was like razor thin right there at the end.
Clawing.
It was tied for like the last 10 seconds of your speech there, and then at the very end, you hit the final nail.
Yeah, it was this.
This is very cathartic. Can I just like say that? Like,
yeah, yeah. This is gonna be really fun to do once we have these matches every week.
Yeah.
Because then we'll be able to discuss the actual matches. We'll be able to break down like individual things that happen from them. This is a great way to kind of like get it off the ground and figure out.
Don't tell me that. don't tell me that, Malcolm.
So yeah, no, that went. There were some rough things. There's some things we definitely know that we need to work on, but we do appreciate all three of you coming on here for our pilot and getting this out into the world. Hopefully the Schmoedown space really enjoyed it. I know I had a blast here tonight. But before we go, Shug, where can the good people find you on the internet?
Oh, well, the good people can find me at the Let's Get Ready network. You can find us on Twitter, Let's Get Ready net. You can find our website at letsgetreadynet.com. And you can also just find me at ShugKnight323 on Twitter. And just, you'll see me tweeting stuff, most likely from the podcast. And yeah, thank you very much for having me on. Alex, Jillian, you guys are amazing. This was actually one of my dreams come true to get to argue with you guys. I fulfilled it. I am happy now. You guys are amazing. Obviously, Jeff and Brandon, man, thank you for having me on. Absolutely. And having us on. It was awesome. You guys are doing a great job. Good luck. And we are here to support you guys with the community. So good luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Shug. And Alex, where can everyone find you and what you're doing?
You can find me sulking in a corner with the call to action. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
We'll be crying into our 2 awards as we, we'll be sobbing into our 2 awards.
I'm just like, yeah.
That should have been one of the.
I might have cried. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation for another day. I'm not going to go into that about how happy I was. Yeah, so you can actually find me on Twitter at real_AlexMack. You can also find me having my own debate show, again, where I don't debate. I host it. I like to watch other people debate on Schmoebates, where we debate Schmoedown's biggest and most necessary questions. And I also have a co-host a show with a video Joe called Cinema Bias, where we dive into our personal movie biases and really trying to challenge each other to watch movies outside of our wheelhouse. Last week she watched her second ever Studio Ghibli movie, which was Spirited Away. She never saw it before until then. So we dove into that, and tomorrow we're going to be diving into Blazing Saddles. So if that's something you're into, definitely come check it out.
Blazing Saddles.
All right, and Jillian, where can everyone find you online?
Yeah, you can find me over on A Certain Point of View on YouTube, Schmoedown POV on Twitter. We do, obviously, Schmoedown Reactions, Schmoedown Aftershow. We also have our new show called Happy Hour with Jill and Molly, where we drink and we hang out and we play drinking games and we have a guest, and it's a lot of fun. You can also catch me personally on Twitter and Instagram, Jilly Marie, 2 Y's, 2 E's. I'm a fun follow, so come hang out and party with us.
Yeah, they... all three of our panelists here, all three of them create such amazing content that I love to watch and support. So it was such a pleasure to have all three of you on here today. Jeff, where can everyone find you online?
Here, but also
right here.
Yeah, right here, actually, right here in this desk chair. Online. In Philadelphia, you can find me at GEOFF1106. It's at Jeff1106 on Twitter, Instagram, and that's really it. I mean, you could add me on Facebook. I don't post a lot, but I'll message you there. So that's really it. I mean, you got me here. That's the big thing.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. You can find
and
me.
Where can people find you, Buck?
Brandon Buck 88 on Twitter. I also have another Schmoedown show that's more of a profile breakdown, Mount Schmoedown. Go ahead and give us a follow there. You can also follow this show's Twitter at Schmoe Me Money, because apparently there's a character limit. So Schmoe Me Money. If you want to go ahead and give us there, maybe tweet at us saying what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about the show. Also, if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, we would appreciate it.
Please make sure that you comment when this is done and the live chat's closed and the comments are open. Please make sure to go in and also comment as well. What did you like? What did you not like? What do you think needs to be worked on more so we can try to make this the best possible version of this going forward? We really enjoyed doing this here. We really enjoy having people come on here and yell at each other for an hour or so.
Yeah, it was definitely very fun. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We will attempt to have the show on the same time every week, but it may change depending on the availability of our panelists. So we shall see. Next week, we will be discussing the moves of the free agency special. Will there be some surprises? I really hope so. I'm really hoping we get some what the hell just happened type of moves. It's going to be extremely fun. Thanks, everyone. We really appreciate it.